Hello, you. You are probably wondering, what's what got to do with what? Let me ask you, what is going to sustain you through the hard times? For hard times come and go. They never go away completely. You face a lot of things in life, and it is nice to have someone along the way to get through those times in life with you. No one wants to be alone, really. For relationships and marriages to be strong and lasting, it takes effort and sacrifice. That's not so hard to do when you're googly-eyed and in love. So if you're thinking that changing partners is the answer, when things seem to not be going the way that you've dreamed of them to go, it is not the answer. And why not? Well, because in every relationship, in every marriage, it will have its own fair share of problems. They may not be the same problems that you had before, because problems present themselves no matter who your partner is, no matter what marriage number 1 or 2, etc. that you're on. Maybe you're not even seeking any division in your relationship, and you feel like you're just settling for what it is. But still, there are times that you want so much more. We all deserve that. So why just let these bad things happen to you? Why settle? The first place that you need to be searching is within yourself. You see, the key to these life-changing issues is how committed are you to work through those things. People are always saying things like, do your own research on this subject or that subject, so why not your relationship? Why not your marriage? If you've ever felt all hope is gone, then what you need to do is commit to faith and talking to God about it. Do this. Take the leap of making the two of you a priority by jumping in to dig deeper, to discover what cure or solution or compromise there is to this issue or this problem. Make your partner and this relationship between the two of you a priority. When we begin to see the response we get and how it is received, we find ourselves wanting to give more of it, and it becomes more automatic, more than something that we have to put forth the effort towards. It makes you a better and a happier person as well. It begins to flow from you. It's not so hard anymore. It makes you worthy. In Hebrews 11, it talks about faith, and it says that faith without actions is dead. So what that is saying is, how is your faith going to be empowered and working if you're not doing anything to activate it? So act. Be intentional and consistent. Even if you don't feel like you think you should, make efforts. And your actions can then activate what needs to happen, what needs to change, and it activates a response in your partner. Ask yourself as well, what needs to change in me? Challenge yourself. Isn't that exciting? I mean, challenge yourself to do so many things in life and see where it goes. Write it down. Make it a true commitment, and change things in your life. Let me tell you, I remember feeling blasé and feeling busy, but wanting to feel energized and romance in my marriage. So I just simply started speaking and asking God to help me. Help me, Father, to miss my husband when he's gone. Help me to be more excited to see him. Boy, that truly worked. And quickly. It worked so quickly that very day I started feeling those things. I think sometimes when we talk about it and we talk about it out loud with God, we start to feel it, So the more that I talked to God about us, the happier we became. Being more intentional also became exciting and fun. And feeling those things helped my entire day and how I responded to other people throughout my day. Thinking of what things I could do to surprise him with. Simple and little things were the most exciting. Finding out what triggered him with joy, a lot of times some of the things that your person does for you, it is some of the things that he or she desires as well. I was always thinking about Okay, I was working from home and I wanted the house to look so nice when he came in the door. What would he see first? And when he was welcomed home after working all day, that's true for any of us at all. Both husband and wife working and they come home, and if the house is a mess, then they're like, oh, great. If you work together and you get it done, you both can come home and things look nice. Or if you get home a little earlier than they do, then maybe you can do a few things to help out and make it better. Those things were always fun and exciting for me to do as well. Even if I was tired, I knew that he would appreciate it. And even if he didn't, he would learn to, because things change. My husband he's always been this love note napkin writer. So I have wrote these love notes on the napkins whenever I've made his lunches. He bought a small notebook the other day to keep his work notes in, and I found a page and I wrote a note to him for him to find one day when he's working on something. You can sit and ponder about these kinds of things, and you can make a list to do for him or her, and then do those things. On a side note, I love the notes section on my phone. This is a place that I can always write little categories and then jot down the notes and the ideas in. Most people always have their phones handy, so write them down as you think of them. And another thing that I like to use is my recorder on my phone. And I speak things as I'm driving to help me remember the things that I want to truly remember. So those are little tools that you can use because, sometimes we'll think of them and then we'll forget. And then we'll completely not remember them again because it was just spur of the moment, thoughts of the moment. I knew this guy once that talked about when we get these little thoughts and these quick little thoughts and how these thoughts come back to us a lot. But jotting them down and not forgetting about them and all that, a lot of times that's God's ideas, little God ideas. And so it's always important to have these two things that I just mentioned handy to be able to utilize and write down. Just type them in to my notes or just pick up the recorder and hit the record button and say them and then come back later and put them where I need them to be. Now, if you've never watched the movie Fireproof, I want to suggest that you do. I watch it many times just to become inspired and encouraged. And in this movie, it's such an excellent resource for marriages. And it has a good look into how we often forget to invest in our marriages. And it also uses this book called The Love Dare, where it helps this couple and it helps this person who's fighting for their marriage to use this Love Dare book every day to challenge himself to be more intentional. And then you can purchase the book as well, and it can help you in the same ways. And I'm telling you, it can be adventurous and fun, and it can make your partner feel loved and valued, and they feel all these things coming from you. It helps set you on this path of being intentional and challenging yourself, which I think challenges are so fun, and challenging yourself, teaching yourself how to be a better partner, how to be a better spouse. I believe that they have a Facebook group, so you can look up Love Dare. I know that's one, and they give you these daily challenges that way. And I think they write them out of the book. I remember being on that at one time. So look that up. I wanted to mention that many people, they have wanted to know that, how in the world we've been together this long and stay so in love. Well, my husband and I have worked together side by side for 7 years. Many people have mentioned that they just don't understand how in the world we work so well together. They said it amazes them and they cannot fathom how that we can work together all day and then go home together, spending our complete day together. But we've always dreamed of doing this in our lives, for we spent a lot of time apart with our other jobs from before that took us away from that precious time together. And we finally had the opportunity to see our dream come true and see just how successful the two of us are working together, not only in our personal lives, but now in our professional lives as well. First, we learned to appreciate that we had this opportunity and we were thankful for our dream to come true. It was something that he did, something that he was good at, something that he did for a living, that he invited me into. And I did it to become part of his world, which then became our world. And we have always given our best, looking for ways to continue to improve. We had fun talking about those things and doing those things. We had daily goals at home. We had daily goals at work and for our future. When days seemed so long, we encouraged the other one and we helped them to press on, to get through it, to get it done. We had a lot of common ground, but we were always aware of one another's strengths and weaknesses. This really worked in our favor because actually, when he was weak at something, I was strong, and vice versa. But whenever COVID came along, that was the one thing that was the most difficult for us to no longer have. It actually brought on more grieving and mourning and loss of all sorts. We have been together since I was 14 years old. I have a lot of years to look back upon and remember and think about, seeing how far we have come and why God unfolded things as He has done. I am so thankful that I don't have to look back and wonder, but instead I can look back and know how we turned out. This is true in so much of my life when it comes to anything that I may have thought of giving up on. The mainstay that kept me holding on and pressing ahead and waiting on God in His just-in-time moment. God's grace, it has been the most successful key to our marriage. You may ask, what is that? Well, it's God's favor and His kindness towards us because we seek Him. Regardless of what we have faced, God has grew our love for one another. God rains down His grace on all mankind. He gave us the beauty and the wonder of nature that we see each and every day. He gives us near misses when the accidents are heading our way. He often brings us the right thing just at the right time. And He also gave us an innate conscience to know right from wrong, knowing this marriage involves the three of us, God, my husband, and I. All these things are common graces, and everyone born on this earth has the benefit of them because God so loved the world. I think even our time apart gave us more appreciation for one another, simply because we missed one another. We missed the talents and the gifts and the time that we had together each day, how we shared those things together, and now we were doing without that. And so it made it a really difficult time. But it isn't all about our feelings. It's about our commitment to God and to each other. The payoff can be so much more than you ask God for, I promise you. Probably the best thing about being older is that you can sit and reflect on what has worked and probably why it works now, but it didn't work before. It's about growth, maturity, and security. It's about the time that you paid to learn those things. You've invested that time in those things. Just investing time in this relationship and hanging in there, You see, at first in a relationship, we have many expectations, and then some we are not even aware of yet. We still have fears and uncertainties and things to learn, all in front of us. Some of us didn't even have the right examples in life to follow. Some of us haven't even been taught certain things in life. Having an understanding, a supportive and partnering partner, it really helps. The younger you are, the more you focus on how things look to the world. You wish to impress the world rather than truly focus on your day-to-day life to eventually make it that fine wine that you will have one day. Think endurance, not to impress anyone but God. Because honestly, people are more consumed by their own lives to be paying that kind of attention that you think they are to your life. There is this saying, You know what makes you happy. It's your life, so only you can live it. So, live to build day to day, a lasting relationship, a future. You know, everything takes time, as it has problems, adjustments, and investments to work through. It's a process to become what it is meant to be. Of course, you should want something in the first place, and then you should want it to last. Never be too prideful to ask someone that you trust for help and guidance. When your relationship is a priority to you, you should never be afraid to be humble or vulnerable, to not ask for the help that you need or confess that you need something. That is not weakness. That is powerful and necessary to get somewhere better on your journey with your partner. You don't always have to like one another and click all the time, but you should have the love of God to want what God wants for you and this relationship. So seek Him first in all things. Invest yourself in spending time with God and having your first relationship be with God. Even if your partner doesn't, God will honor your life, and God is the only one who can change anything and anyone anyhow. You're not going to change your partner. God's going to change them through your prayers and your belief. So by investing in God, you are investing in your relationship. You are investing in your marriage. Find it fun and even challenging to find ways to do things with your partner that your partner wants to do. It can bring you closer. Make time for one another, and stay in touch throughout your day in some form of communication. Find ways to put action into place that speaks that your relationship is a high importance. If you have a family, it will especially pay off when one day you're back down to the two of you as you continue to grow older. Your spouse won't be thinking of the young and the sexy at this point. They will be thinking of how you were the one who stuck by them through it all, and the one who knows you and still loves you, and because you put in the time and the sacrifice, and now that's priceless, and no one else has that over you. So pray together. Be best friends. Trust. And if you don't have trust, then work on it and talk. Talk about everything. It doesn't matter where you start in your relationship either. Show that it is important to you and that you both are worth making things better. Just like anything in this world, your intentional actions can actually make all things better. Change your tone. It makes all the difference in how someone receives your message. Timing as well is really important. You want to be received well, so evaluate the timing of what's going on when you want to talk about something. If he or she has a bad day and you don't want to add to it, and if it can't wait, then do some things to help their day get better, and then talk about it. Consider these things, but don't put it off. Be more kind, show more grace, and talk. Always use your communication abilities to keep the airways in your relationship flowing. Remember, it is a give and take relationship. In marriage, sometimes there is a season of more giving than receiving. Sometimes it balances out or it hits the scale on the other side. It's okay. See the need and what's going on for your partner. This is why being more considerate is so important. Don't leave it out of the blend of your relationship. Know what is important to your partner and make it important to you by helping and doing what you can. This is your time to shine above anyone else in their lives. It may seem like I'm talking about you doing more, but I promise you that not only does God see your effort and He rewards you, your partner is also learning from you how to be as well to you. Scripture says we sow a seed to meet a need. We do believe that making your relationship next in line after God and before your children is how it does work. It doesn't mean you neglect your children. It means that the happier you two are with one another, the better parents you are, the better you work together and even plan your time together better. Help one another out. I love seeing how moms and dads work together with doing their jobs and then sharing the load of parenting and household chores as well. This is so wonderful for children to witness as well. Marriage and parenting, it takes two people working together in all things. And this right here is what makes the two of you so special. It is your marriage, it is your family that the two of you do together, and all the little secrets and the beauty in life that only the two of you share. I so much appreciate knowing that I share those kinds of things with this one man and no one else. I thank the Lord for that. My husband and I, we confess a lot to one another about how blessed that we are, that we both would choose one another all over again. Sure, we would change some things, but as a result, it would be even better. But you live and you learn, and I have told you before that God doesn't want you to dwell on your yesterdays, but to live in the present and focus on your tomorrows. Stay faithful, stay committed, and focused on being intentional. Learn more about forgiveness because it will help you in all of your relationships. Unforgiveness, it robs you of your happiness and joy and God's favor and kindness towards you. Show affection to one another, touches and hugs and I love yous. You know, you don't hold hands and kiss every person in your life, right? So that makes this person extra special and the relationship more sacred. Show affection to the one that is the one. I remember something that Richard Jackson, one of my pastors, would talk about a lot whenever he would speak to the young people. And he would ask them, what makes this person any more special than the last one you were dating? Did you hold hands with this one? Well, he'd say, did you hold hands with the last one? Did you kiss this one? Or did you kiss that one? What makes this one any more special than the last one? So if you think in the context of all those things, what is it that makes this one more special than the last one? This was from a pastor 30 some odd years ago at a church I used to go to. It always made me think about how marriage is so special. We remember, my husband and I, waking up several times on our wedding night to reach out to one another to see that the other one was there. We kept saying things like, we just couldn't believe we were married and that we could spend every night together for the rest of our lives. It made the act of our marriage, of our ceremony, move us into a new level of our relationship and one that we were committed to and would not would ever have with anyone else unless, he died, I died, and we remarried. It just made it extra special. It was every day after that we discovered the exciting path of our sharing and living our lives together and making our life journey. It was a true honeymoon, not going into something that we had somehow already experienced. We didn't get a trial period. We committed to putting that person as our priority, and we stayed committed to it. If you want to make it forever lasting, be intentional in it. Allow commitment to be what you own up to, and don't give it an opt-out. Decide when the waters get rough that you will anchor yourself to your commitment and see yourself getting through the storm even stronger and more in love. It does work. My parents often commented on public affection. You know, those couples who were slobbering all over one another. It kind of gives the appearance of insecurity, that they just can't keep their hands off of one another. So when we're talking about showing affection, I'm not talking about that kind of affection. I am talking about just times of the two of you. And it's okay to show affection in public as well, but it doesn't have to be extreme. In public, I'm speaking of how you respond to one another to show love and respect and confidence. And I think that is a really, really good thing. And if you have children, they need to see your affection and respect towards one another because it gives them more security in life. And it is an example for them to follow and learn by. How do you think they get these parenting skills and these relationship skills? I mean, who do you think they look to first? It is their parents. In all these things, they compare themselves to you. So remember that and do your best to show love and to show respect towards your spouse and towards your family. You are their first go-to example. I know, and I can tell you with all certainty, that the enemy and those he uses are out to destroy marriages and families in this world, and never more stronger than he is doing so right now. He knows that marriage is the foundation of all things good. Think about it. All good things come and stay strong on the foundations of a good, strong, lasting marriage and its family and what comes forth from all of that. The enemy, he is out to steal, kill, and destroy your family, which is God's army. The enemy, he is after it every single day. Some days you find yourself fighting for your life while not even seeing that it is the enemy out to get you. The closer you draw to God, the more you begin to understand this and what to do to win these battles. We have to protect our marriages and our families, and we have to help our friends do the same things. Hold them accountable. Allow them to hold you accountable. God needs you. God needs your spouse. God needs your family. God needs your friends' families. All of us to survive and live out our purpose that he has given to us. United we will stand, and we will build a stronger nation for us to live in and for us to thrive in. I want to suggest that if you haven't, and even if you have, it would be good to probably listen to it again, but listen to my podcast 5 and number 6. Learn more about healing marriages. Listen to my testimony. And I will also provide the links in the description below, as well as written scriptures and our written story for you to read. I will also put that link below as well. Until next time, find ways to be more intentional with your partner. It doesn't take a lot of time to incorporate it into your lifestyle because it is a priority. It's important. And remember, it should become part of who you are and in all things that you do. God bless each and every one of you.